Hello Booktube, it's Roz and I'm celebrating today, hence the bunting. And I'm celebrating 6 months of having a channel on Booktube. And I kind of had it in my head that it was 6 months because I knew that I started it as a New Year's resolution and did my first ever video on the 1st of January 2020. And I was thinking, oh, I should do something to mark that, maybe just to say thank you to all the booktubers out there that I've sort of shared the last 6 months with. And then I woke up this morning and saw that I had a couple of new subscribers, and I realised, it dawned on me that I might have hit the magic 500, and I had a look and yes, I had. So that seemed like, hey, this is the day when I should make this video. And when I embarked on this, I have to say, clocking up subscribers was not top of the list of my kind of concerns, and it still isn't, but there's something about like a nice round number, isn't there? So yeah, I have to celebrate 500, don't I? So the first thing I have to say is thank you so much to you 500. In fact, this afternoon it's 501. You 501 lovely people out there, and I know people come and go, and that'll change, but it's a good feeling, I think. Yeah. Now, as I say, when I started this 6 months ago, I thought to myself, let's give it a go, see if I enjoy it. I've been really enjoying watching videos on Booktube and commenting and kind of participating in some Booktube events but I thought I will only keep going with it if I enjoy it, and if I enjoy it I will keep going with it, if that makes sense. And I have, and that's true. And this seems like a moment to kind of look back a little over the last 6 months and whether it's worked out how I expected. And one thing that I knew that I wanted to do if I did a Booktube channel was the scallywandling videos that I do, which is where I talk about the books that I read that are not from the UK where I live, and probably also not kind of mainstream American or other sort of, you know, Anglophone sort of country kind of books, you know. And that was, I suppose, the thing that I thought, oh well, I could bring something, you know, not exceptional, but slightly not the usual run of Booktube fare. And I've done that, and I've stuck with it, I'm really happy to say, and I've done at least one of those every month. And the books have come from a multitude of places, because sometimes they're books in translation, and some of them are books perhaps from places where there's not such a well-established sort of literary tradition, that there are like a large number of books that then get translated so that, you know, you or I watching this in English could read them. And that's been a pleasure and a joy. And my second thank you of this video is to the people who've watched some of the more obscure scallywandling videos that I've done and done interested comments. And in my dreams, maybe there's someone out there who's read something that they wouldn't otherwise have read from watching those, and that would make me happy. But even if nobody has, it's still been a pleasure to do this and to share them with other people on Booktube. Now, when I sort of started this channel, I knew I wasn't kind of going to be chasing subscribers. I guess it was because I knew that the kinds of things that I read are not the things that kind of generate like thousands of watchers. You know, I don't do young adult stuff, I don't really do fantasy, I don't do, you know, all that, or they don't do much really popular fiction. So, you know, and I'm happy with that, because I'm in this lovely corner of Booktube with many other lovely booktubers who enjoy the kind of books that I do. And that's been one of Booktube's enormous pleasures over the last 6 months. All those conversations that I've had with like kind of our super commenters, people like, you know, Joe and Lillian, and with booktubers that I kind of share interests with. I could name so many, so I won't do a great long list, but you know who you are, and I really enjoy our conversations. So that's my second thank you. The other thing that I think I knew I was going to do or carry on doing on booktube when I had a channel was I'd been enjoying taking part in various sort of readathons, read-alongs, special months, and so on. And I've done a number. They've all been a joy. I always gone for some that were a bit niche, like last August, Faulkner in August, and I'm looking forward to doing that this August, but as someone who makes films rather than just commenting. Cromwellathon was enormous fun at the beginning of the year, with Jason and Jayshi and many others, and then there's been bigger ones like Springathon, Cribathon. It's been really just a lot of fun, and now we're in Jane Austen July, which is possibly the highlight of the year for me, and in terms of readathons and read-alongs, and I've got a couple of Jane Austen July videos lined up to post later in the month, so I'm promising you those now so as to make sure I deliver on them. I know that the reason that I enjoy sort of month-long things, 2-week things, read-alongy things, is because it's partly that it broadens what I read, but the other thing is that it creates conversations with other booktubers, with other people who have channels and commenters, and I guess that's the special pleasure, isn't it? So that I knew I would do those, and that's why I have. And then Tilly and I, and it was Tilly who got me into booktube, as you'll know if you watch my channel regularly, because Tilly's my daughter. She and I have our own special little read-along thing that we're doing with each other, which was one of the sort of surprises, I guess, of this 6 months, because we hadn't planned it in advance really, but that's our Discussing Drama series, and every month for these 6 months we've picked a play and both read it and talked about it together somehow on here, and the videos are either on her channel or mine, and that's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to sort of over years to come doing more things like that with Tilly, but also anyone else who fancies doing something along those lines. So yeah, that's been a joy. Now the thing that I didn't know I was going to start doing on my channel was tags, and I don't think I really got the point of tags when I just watched booktube, and I think the reason is that what's lovely about tags is the interaction with other channels, so people tagging each other, and like maybe I might watch a tag that someone else does and see their answer to the questions and think about mine, and then I do it, and so it's a connection thing. And but the other thing I enjoy about tags, which I hadn't really thought about beforehand, is that quite often they make you reflect back on your reading, and not just talk about the things that you're reading now, but talk about your sort of reading habits and your what sort of reader you are, and things that you've read over the years. So yeah, that's really enjoyable, and so those are 3 things that I'm definitely going to keep doing, which is the Scally Dandles, the joining in things, and doing some tags. One thing I know in terms of if one was subscriber chasing, put it that way, one of the things that one would do is stick to a bit of a regular cycle of when you post. So proper grown-up booktubers who do it properly, like Katie of Books and Things, or Claudia of Spinster's Library, their very good advice to new booktubers is, have a regular pattern of when you do your videos. And another good bit of advice that I hopelessly ignored is make nice thumbnails, because that attracts people to watch. I feel miserably about that, and and edit properly. And I have to apologise for the fact that I don't edit my videos, and the reason for that is that I know that I have quite a busy life, and it's a miracle really that I've managed to keep this going for 6 months and post relatively regularly. And if I also tried to spend like an hour or two editing every video, it just wouldn't happen. So it's kind of what you see is what you get. But maybe I'll get a bit more polished in the 6 months to come. And my end of 6 months, 500 subscribers kind of resolution, I guess, is to add one more thing to the kind of range of things that I normally do. I've always struggled a bit over the 6 months, I realised looking back, to work out how to talk about the books that don't fit into a Scallydandle or a kind of readathon connection thing, or aren't a play for discussing drama, or don't come up in relation to a tag. And people have all sorts of different ways of doing that, don't they? And I love, you know, Friday reads, or that like Sean might do, or Saturday hodgepodge from Brian, or you know, all the different ways that people do their weekly. I think Mark Nash calls them weekly reads. It makes really good sense. I need a vehicle for that, I think. And so that's my 6 month resolution, that I'm going to start doing a monthly wrap up that's going to be my monthly D&D. Now that's not Dungeons and Dragons, if you're a Dungeon and Dragon person. It's going to be discoveries and delights, and sometimes the odd disappointment thrown in. So that's my resolution, and I'm going to make one and post it kind of as a partner to this video. So that's my plan. And I just need to wind up by just saying thank you again to everyone who's made this 6 months like such a delight and a joy, and see you all soon.